Hey guys, it's Ryan with Fluid Health, bringing you another episode of Science Powered Fitness. Today we're going to talk about ankle mobility and sensory afferent feedback. So sensory afferents are the receptors in your tissues that respond to stretch tension or pressure. Some respond to temperature. There's pain receptors. These are all basically ways that our brain interprets our environment, and they're called mechanoreceptors. So we got them through all of our body parts, and the idea here is that they are able to tell our brain what's going on with the environment, and it helps us to calibrate how we adjust other muscle structures. So if one area of the body is affected or maybe even compromised, it can affect another in the way that the brain calibrates the use of the information to determine how it's going to respond to the environment. So one of the big takeaways here for ankle mobility is that oftentimes people are exclusively working on the actual stretch and the flexibility of the ankle joint rather than looking at maybe the support structures of the foot or the knee that sit on top of that or below that joint structure. So the idea here is that each joint structure has a component of force that it needs to be able to provide or demonstrate, and it then will allow the next joint to operate in an efficient pattern. And that's normally referred to as sensory motor integration or efficient proprioception. So if the body's well calibrated and the muscles are firing at the right time sequence to support the joint structure, the flow of force acts through the structures as they're supposed to and everything moves well. So the idea here is that sometimes people are only working on stretching through the calf musculature to provide more dorsiflexion of the ankle. It means that you're pulling your toe up. So dorsiflexion looks like this. You guys can see my ankle here, where we're pulling the toe up to the shin, up to the shin. Plantarflexion is pushing down. So when you do like doorway stretches where you lean against the wall and push your calf back or your heel back into the ground, that's really just a flexibility drill for the gastroc. A lot of times that comes with limited outcomes or results, and it's simply because we're not looking at the bigger picture. A lot of times it can just be the sensory relationships of the toe flexors that supports the arch of the foot that are responsible for absorbing force before it gets to the ankle. So if these feet mechanics aren't properly balanced and the receptors of those tissues aren't properly engaged, well then again the ankle might have to overreact and it'll reduce its reactive stretch tone, or increase its reactive stretch tone so it won't relax. So it's interesting if you do an ankle stretch test and you look at your mobility, see how far you can get into dorsiflexion before the heel lifts off. You can do a wall stretch for that or a closed kinetic chain ankle dorsiflexion test. And then see if it moves or see how far it moves into dorsiflexion, and then get out a gun like this and then stimulate the bottom of the foot. So you can turn this to like a level 3. This is a Theragun. And then just gently stroke the bottom of the foot from inferior, okay, or from low to high. So you're bringing the blood flow back towards the heart. And do that about 20 times without creating pain. And then reassess and then try your ankle mobility, and you'd be surprised. Oftentimes we'll see net increases of about 5, 10, even 15 degrees of additional range of motion. And once again, this isn't about forcing the ankle to glide and stretch through the tissue, but again, reinforce the cortical relationships for the sensory information going back to the brain to prepare the foot to absorb more force so that the brain doesn't interpret that the ankle has to do more work. So it naturally relaxes the reactive stretch tone and you get more improved range of motion. Pretty awesome. Especially for somebody like myself who was working on limited ankle mobility for a long period of time. So once again, guys, we're trying to get your expansion and your consciousness and awareness about why your body might be operating under different circumstances or different factors that you don't want it to. A lot of times ankle mobility restricts our ability to get our knees to translate forward, so we can't properly squat or lunge or hinge well. And so that can put a lot of pressure onto our lower back and compromise our form too. So ankle mobility is pretty important. So another takeaway, questions on any of this stuff, make sure to reach out to us at admin@fluidhealthandfitness.com. Remember, your body is designed to move, so stay in motion. And we'll see you for another episode.